regardless of your pedigree in this event, you show a chink of weakness or just a little bit of illness or something goes wrong, and the Cape Epic will exact a heavy toll on you. We've seen a couple of the men already today out of the race. Alex Miller, the Namibian men's champion, has withdrawn just after the start due to the fatigue and excessive toll it's taken on his body. And yesterday we saw Yaroslav Kulhavi out of the race as well, the former champion, dropping out of the race after a fall.
Well, he posted a picture of the X-ray. The first picture in his post was him crossing the line with looked like he was a little bit lopsided on the bike, favoring one of his shoulders, and then the next picture was an X-ray of a completely broken collarbone. So he's had a hard day at the Cape Epic. Did vow to come back and was delighted to be back at the race. And at some point he was riding well within the top 10. So looking forward to seeing Yaroslav Kulhavi in 2025.
Tell us where they're going here, Sabine.
Yeah, so we're just very close to coming back to Dolhof, the last to the water point. And so we have now just seen the top 2 teams, and I think there was like a little bit of gap to the 3rd team. But we're definitely getting more information also with a time split very soon.
At that Dolhof water point, that's Jessie Nixon, who's on the Bulls Media e-bike, following the leading women's teams, and she's I promise you going forward, don't worry about that icon going back and forward, and we go forward now to the men's team. Sebastian Finney and Nino Schurter, they look as though they may be off the back of this group, because our media e-bike is normally behind the last riders in the group, and it's been single track since then, so it's likely that they may be feeling a little bit of the pressure that we saw in our last image of the men's race, with Toyota Specialized on the front. Matt Beers dictating the pace. Perhaps they are. We'll wait and see how far the gap is. Well, now the job with Nino Schurter has to do instead of being at the front, now he has to nurse his partner back to the front and try and minimize the damage, minimize the time loss to the team of Toyota Specialized 91. They, at this point, will likely to go from defense mode into attack mode and try and extend that gap back to Nino Schurter and Sebastian Finney. Their roles have switched. Matthew Beers and Howard Grotz now need to make hay while the sun shines and try and put more time into World Bicycle Relief. 2 minutes is a very slim margin to be going into the last, to a very big weekend in Stellenbosch.
Nächste Bier. Molto denti, speriamo non vedo. Sto facendo, ma questo qui. Yeah, ecco perché va a quelli.
seconds and at best minutes out of your closest rivals today is a huge one because those two stages, the last two stages in the Xiaomi parameter are going to be extremely tough. Not that today isn't, but perhaps not quite as tough as those. So this is the challenge for the team today to minimize losses. Sebastian Finney, the Danish champion, he scored a bit earlier, sitting up and stretching in the single track. This is the total for again. I'm talking about the total that 8 days of riding takes on you. Finny in his first journey like this Mexican technique is in the deep end, guys. They're on top of territory.
No, and I guess also, I mean, it's like 8 tough days of riding, and I mean, you can see also, I mean, every time getting off the saddle and pushing again hard. So it takes its toll, and I also here again you see now from the helicopter picture, and it looks like that's still Matt Beers and Harry Woods are in the lead, and Andreas Silva and Mark Spitzmann following the two. So it might be that Willi Schlöter and Sebastian Finney got back.
And it's likely that the Cannondale team also just perhaps play a bit of tactic game here. They know that the agenda, the chief agenda of Beers and Jock is to put time into World Bicycle League. Now if they have a gap, they want to push the pace as hard as they possibly can. With Matt Beers now got a 2-minute advantage. Confidence on this will be Cannondale team. They can afford just to sit back and let the main agenda play out and just take, I wouldn't say a free ride because there's still a lot of work to be done before they get to the golden mile section and the road to finish. But they will profit from this hugely if they can get a ride on the back of the powerful South African, the defending champion. And the one thing they will need to do is stay in touch, which is the only key. You can see already the gaps are developing and the pace set by Matt Beers has put everyone under pressure.
Yeah, Beers has been hugely impressive, hasn't he? He's taken the fight on and he's decided he's going to use his last few runs to try and put World Bicycle League under some pressure, and it seemingly is working. Sure to that, although in how they manage these sort of situations, it's not an unfamiliar situation for the multiple world champion, the 10-time world champion, and people are actually capable of people when they say he knows how to handle this situation. Down they drop here, look at Beers go. Amazing to the blue gum crease here at such speed.
So the racing certainly heating up now, and it is time for we need to get a time check on where Nina Schurter and Sebastian Finney are.
Here's Graz, Silva and Stutzman. The Canyon City Fair will be delighted with the way it's panning out for them. They are collapsed onto the lead group, and if they hang on, they've got the temperature raise, and they've put time and distance to their closest rivals up here, and Megamo as well, but Megamo also off the group here. Here we go. This is the gap. 20 seconds, 20 seconds.
Even a bit more, that's
This junction of the race is only 2 minutes of general classification between the yellow jerseys and this pair. That is an absolute gift for the Beers Cross combination. Unboard here at high speed. Absolutely spectacular.
They're on the limit just of how much they're leading Andreas Silva and Mark Strippel at the back there. The Swiss champion is leading all the way through these turns. These are hand-cut trails, and they do say we have to hear that it is possible to trust the border is the phrase of the day. Trust that these turns will take you through into the next section, and that's what these top riders do. Almost horizontally as they head through this track.
yeah, and always looking at the onboard camera, it always makes you leaning into these birds, and like just going with the same movement like the rider's doing, and it's I think this is also when I was on the pre-roller, was watching Alpine skiing, like off the roads can easily get you.
You mean you're linked to that? You're linked to the bird on the outside of speed and you're on your road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that unbelievable scenes of them flying down there at high speed. Thankfully, Mark Stutzman and Andreas Silva stayed upright, and no one got off. But that trail is sandy and sketchy, and it will get looser and looser as the day goes on, but it is a pretty one.
Yeah, luckily you have like this, the birds are quite high, which, and this is also, the higher you ride, the better actually, because the loose end just slides down into the bottom.
Yes, look at him go, Beers.
Wow. Phenomenal power set down by Matt Beers, and all the Canyon CD have to do is just stay on the back of hard trucks. The riders are the two-person team race. The teams are obliged by the rules of the race to stay together, not allowed to separate around 4 minutes. Matt Beers had to wait for his partner hard trucks, which lets Canyon CD. All they have to do is mark hard trucks, and ensure that Matt Beers, all he wants to do is put down all of his watts onto the trails right now, onto these roads, into the finish, into Wellington, because he knows he has the advantage over Nino Schurter, and that is a rare thing indeed to have a gap, and we want to extend that 2-minute gap even more.
It can actually get eaten in the next days quite quickly, so the more you can gain today, the better, so that you just have like this little bit extra popular to also.
هذا المفيد التحية كثير الأقدام تريد المسابقات المتشققة أو ضمان استعادة أموالك.
Have some more, the more time you can actually get the better.
And Nino was talking yesterday about how he's looking forward to the Stellenbosch Trails. He's got a property in Stellenbosch. He knows this area like the back of his hand. So do most of these riders, but it's his type of terrain, and so every opportunity that Beers and Grots can to take time out of the real bicycle route, they will do so. They're doing it right now as they snake down through these bush vines here, the Bosman family vines heading into those here. The Bosman family vines really are a beautiful part of the Wellington wineries, and in fact the Paris Editor's Winery of the Year in 2024. That plan dated back to 18th generation of the Bosman's creating world-class wines. Right, so this is world-class racing. Beers and Grots try and put this one to bed. They've yet to win a stage at this year's race. The team behind them have won a stage. That's the pair of Silvot and Stutzman. But it's the yellow jerseys who are leading them out at the moment.
Well, Canyon CD have had a resurgent week. They won stage 3, and on stage 4 they were third, just a minute 10 back off the winning time of Nino Schurter and Sebastian Finney. And all they need to do is stay on the back. But the under pressure is World Bicycle Relief. Sebastian Finney is led by none other than Nino Schurter, his teammate, as they try and minimize the damage done by Howard Grots and Matt Beers. Toyota Specialized 91 are in yellow, and World Bicycle Relief within 2 minutes of them on overall general classification going into today's stage. And they need to try and keep that gap to absolute minimum going into the next 2 days. It's all about whatever you can take the advantage of, whenever you have the chance, is take it. It's about making hay while the sun shines. 2 minutes is a tiny gap going into such a big two stages coming up in Stellenbosch.
You see Nino's head bobbing the way he does that very characteristic style. You know he's on the game here. He's really chasing to try to bring the foot back. That little drag we've seen it over the last couple of days up towards the finish as they dig deep here. Beers has been an absolute monster today. He's setting a relentless pace, particularly over the back end of this stage. The leaders are on the right-hand side, and the chasers, Nino Schurter and Sebastian Finney on the right-hand side will try and maybe get a gap for you. The 20, 23, 24 seconds maybe the gap between these two.
I guess that's by now it might be also even more, because we've got the split time for the Beers or for the Toyota Specialized 91 and for the Canyon CD team, but there's no World Bicycle Relief team listed yet, so they still need to come to that split time.
So it's increasing all the while. There's Stutzman out of the sun. They're drinking is the important thing as they get to the finish this year. The temperature's rising, perhaps not quite as hot as yesterday. And Sabine?
And yeah, so now we carried it to that point, and it's 30 seconds is to get to the leading.
Critical time leaping away for World Bicycle Olympia, Nino Schurter and Sebastian Finney, as they try and minimize and close that gap on the closing stages on stage 5 of the Outcicate. I think capitalizing on Canyon City, who are in the middle in this fight, and they're not about the general classification of well, they are, but not about the yellow jerseys. The yellow jerseys on the backs of Matt Beers and Howard Cox.
Well, that's the agenda of today, certainly for Matt Beers and Howard Cox. They are probably not too concerned about the stage. They're way more concerned about the very real threat of Nino Schurter and Sebastian Finney to their overall lead in profiting from Andreas Seubert. If you were Andreas Seubert and Mark Schutzmann, Sabine, what would you do right now?
Yeah, we would probably also try and still to go for a stage win, and now in the final meters you need to position yourself right to get that chance to pass. And I think it might be also would be now the weakest then if it comes to the sprint.
Meanwhile, we look at the third team on this stage right now. Sebastian Finney, the Danish champion, on the wheel of his illustrious partner in Nino Schurter. Finney perhaps has had a really tough day today, and Schurter trying to drag his partner on towards this pair of right teams up ahead. Canyon City and Toyota Specialized 91 in Matt Beers and Howard Cox, who have opened up just a second or two on the German Swiss pair of Stutzman and Seubert, and it's Seubert who now is taking a bit of strain.
Yeah, so he was very strong at the beginning of the Cape exit, of the epic stages, and had now the last 2 days with some problems, and Mark Schutzmann actually got stronger.
They've gone right through the Bosman family lines here. Fantastic out here. They do host races there. They've got some incredible lines. But this is the vintage ride today. It is Matt Beers and Howard Cox who are nailing the yellow jersey firmly onto their shoulders today with a magnificent ride. Here comes Schurter and his partner Finney. Seubert and Stutzman seem to be dropping off the pace here. It's that narrow bridge. There's the gap. Under the marker, under the prime roof, as Sabine christened this little bridge. They've been on it now 3 times in the last 3 days, which will give them a sign that they are very close to home.
And vintage performance by Matt Beers. They conflict with the three obstacles they've had to climb. They've been through some tricky sections, and on the flats, this is absolutely Matt Beers' natural habitat. And as is evidenced by the fact that they have distanced Andreas Seubert, even though they were in the draft, they were on the wheel. They've been distanced by Matt Beers and Howard Cox. And actual the performance by the American tucked in behind Matt Beers. They call it the sports physiologist will refer to a value called FTP, and Matt Beers' FTP power is most likely one of the very best in the business. Matt Beers powering ahead, Howard Cox, and the stage looks very much within their grasp and extending the lead on overall. This would be, let's not speak too soon, it would be their first stage win of the Outcicate. Still one objective to achieve, and it looks like they're on their way to get their first stage win and to cement their place on overall.
Yeah, the gap to the Canyon City team definitely gets bigger, and that makes them actually gives them a comfortable arrival, and they can also celebrate, because we didn't really have so much celebration of the winning teams crossing the finish line, because it was always sprinting and a hard fight.
Well, here they go. They looked over their shoulders at that last corner just to see if they could catch a glimpse of the Canyon City pair. They were out of the sight, which will be a good sign for Matt Beers and Howard Cox as they take this last turn onto this little single track, they will know that they are on the brink of securing a stage win here. Canyon City have 10 seconds behind them. They will surge along the banks of this dam here. He has started off his sporting life as a motocross racer. Whilst he was in the States, he picked up an injury, went and did some cycling tests, and they realised he does have an extraordinary TP, and he's putting it to great use today in the company of the man from Colorado, a partner who has won this race before in Howard Grotz. Grotz is doing all he can to hang on to the motor of the brilliant and powerful Matt Beers.
Another performance by the Cycling defending champion, and he counted at the corner 8 seconds back. They were 8 seconds back, so still they're really at the finish now.
They are coming into the finish here in Wellington, and there's Beers and Grotz on the yellow jerseys. Beers at one stage into the corner, sorry, at one stage into the Chris Clemens, but here he comes to victory here on the stage 5 with Howard Grotz. Beers for the 10th time with the stage, Grotz the second time, and the yellow jerseys have nailed down the stage today in emphatic fashion. Canyon City capitalizing on the opportunities, have sat on the tail and eventually crossing the line in second place. They will improve their hopes of finishing on the podium at the end of this race. So another fantastic performance today. They won a stage, now they finish second, and the clock is ticking back to World Bicycle Relief. Nino Schurter and his partner Sebastian Finney, who were 2 minutes behind the yellow jerseys going into today's stage. They're into the Tented Village now. The clock still ticks. They were 30 seconds back, about 2 kilometers from home. They'll hope to keep them under 30 seconds and really have something to work with going into the last 2 stages. Schurter and Finney in third place on stage 5 of the Axel Cape Epic. They are across the line now, and the gap back to Canyon to the leaders is very tight.
It's quite an impressive
شو الدخيلة؟ وضائع من توكيلات الكون.
لا تأخذها بكلام، خذها بضمان. اشتري سيارات تكنو تطبيق سيارات مستعملة مضمونة لمدة سنة، توصلها ببيتك، تجربها 10 أيام وما جازت لك رجعها. حمل تطبيق سيارة الآن. لا تتداول مع نفسك. نعلم أن الوقت يعني المال، وأن مهما كانت سرعة تداولنا، أجوبة وصولنا عن أسئلتنا أسرع. تداول مع دعم على مدار الساعة. التداول جزء منه.
Well, left was Matt Peters and Howard Grotz just after they got off the bike. The microphone's in there. This is how you get their immediate reactions. The single schneller and Ultrugo, the Bulls Mavericks, come home putting the finishing touches to their stage so far on the Africa Epic in 2024. They tried to stay with the group and eventually on the last line it was Ultrugo who lost contact, but they managed their loss as well.
No place. That battle was just too fierce for them. Well, the battle for DC was too fierce. There was another agenda, and Roscoe, who knew a last-minute pull-up to the race, has done very well to take fourth slot on today's stage. Just having a look back at Bart Legemo, we saw that Canyon City already on virtual general classification have already slipped into fourth spot. spot ahead of OB Elite Speed Company, and now are leading down the legs on the overall GC, leading down the legs of Buff Megamode.
And that is Buff Megamode there, it's backing. And by the one back in their jerseys, the Dutch Champions jersey on the front, the European United Champions jersey behind them, and Singer Racing as the Rodensteiner and somebody Bora back into it a little bit today, the Victoria team. Into the finish, here comes Alman, followed by the Singer Racing pair, and thinking who's going to win this sprint. And it may well have been the Alman Buff Megamode pair. So they try to minimise their losses. Have they done enough to stay ahead of Canyon City on general classification? I think they might just have done that.
They have done that. They still, Buff Megamode still have a 3-minute advantage, just over 3-minute advantage over Canyon City. But the resurgent team, disappointing first couple of days versus some fantastic first couple of days at the Absa Quebec Buff Megamode. Big difference between the two, but Canyon City are definitely on the upswing. Momentum is in their favor. They gained several minutes today, and Canyon City looking extremely good for that podium spot. Buff Megamode, they'll look for better days. 2 more big days to come in Stellenbosch. The big battle, there's a battle for first place and a battle for third place.
Back with the women's race here, and they have just left the Nolan Pass and they're heading up now. The hard work still remains for them to climb out of the valley and make their way towards the golden mile of the finish. It does happen quickly though, as we saw the men once they've done this climb. The Ghost Factory Racing team on there, and it looks like so far the Cannondale Factory Racing team. Getting a little bit closer there, maybe mixing the back end of some of the men from the new side group. We'll come to the finish and the bar to got the Cannondale.
Congratulations, second place.
Again, for a very long time, Westfield, I think, made the best.
Said there by Andreas Serval, but he could talk about the steering heat, the steering pace heats on it. Yeah, right, we are talking about pace. The Ghost Factory Racing and Cannondale Factory Racing teams back together again at the front end of our next women's race. And so they are the only teams in this race that are dominating.
2 teams in the lead group at the very head of the field. Ghost Factory Racing, Cannondale Factory Racing, at 1 minute 37 back. Toyota Specialized working on the 3 contending teams we've seen during this week have risen to the top with 51 kilometers. Toyota Specialized working on the last over about 1.5 minutes. And Samara Shepherd using more time to them to the top 2 rivals today.
Ghost Factory Racing have looked so composed and controlled that dominated the race, despite the fact that they lead only 2.5 minutes. Cannondale Factory Racing, what can they do today, tomorrow, the final day?
So we're still going to try to make a move and only for the next days put pressure on the Ghost Factory Racing team. But at the moment it's actually the other way around, that the Ghost Factory Racing team is obviously in the lead and they're sitting in a quite comfortable situation. They can control, and I mean, Ken's really tried to put pressure on Mona. It's her first year racing the Epic, and she's in general she's a very young rider, so she also still needs some way she's still experienced, and she needs to go into this. she's very ambitious, but she also needs to learn to also accept certain things, and she's too questions. So, I mean, it's like getting inside view also when I was probably as a to tennis, and she has like this experience. She has done obviously like I think this is now the sixth Cape Epic, and you have also things you can control. You try to get control over it, and other things you can't control. You need to let that second let go of it.
And these are all part of the lessons being learned by young Mona Mittermeier. Remember, she's just 22. Yes, her record suggests that she has been riding a lot longer than that, for 2 Marathon World Championships and 2 World Cup games already. But she is only 22, and her first Africa Epic journey is another big step in the development of this World Cup final.
Well, that is going to be a big career by the looks of it. And they are very soon they'll be hitting the 10k to go mark. They're about to reach 60-kilometer mark, and they'll be reaching that USN Hydra point on the climb up to the high point. It's not the high point in the race, but it's the last climb, the last summit of the race at the beginning of Toyota Tough Section, the Golden Mile. So 2 teams in the mix, and we see more of a defensive position at the moment, perhaps just trying to hang on to the pace set by the Ghost. It's not easy to see what is going on in terms of the efforts that are going on the trails right now, but it's clear that the race is going to come down to these 2 teams.
Well, the race is on for the win. This is the race, the South African jersey with Philip Bass. He's the second rider there, and in front of him, Peter de Troy, who's joined the Tiger Eurosteel team this year, having been riding with Imbuka up until now. They are in the African lead by 9 minutes and 36 over Imbuka, and they look as though they're consolidating that lead today, the Imbuka pair, Marco Hubert and Vessel Guerta. Third place up for grabs because Toyota Specialized are out of the race as a team because of the withdrawal of Alex Miller, which means that Danny Neck will fight the racing to Sol Becker and Matthijs Bierkes will move onto the podium position in the South African. That was the start of the day. Thank you, we'll see how it all unfolds once they get to the finish. But Pace is a perennial wearer of this jersey over the many years he's been riding the Cape Epic. He's ridden with many different South African partners, but his early experience was alongside Nino Schurter. Who better to ride alongside with than Nino Schurter when Schurter was still exploring the Cape Epic as a pre-season preparation event, and then got the bug and decided he wanted to win it, which he duly did.
Yeah, he also joined or took part in the Cape Epic now for many times with various partners, and he wanted to, and I guess it's also just he loves Swiss race, and he sees also the benefit of in the preparation for the World Cup season.
Absolutely. In the early years, he then carried UCI ranking points for cross-country races, and it attracted a huge number of the top cross-country races. Now those points are Marathon Series points, and so the fewer of the cross-country riders come out and chase those points, but it's still lovely to have some of the very best in it with us. So they came towards the finish here in Wellington, the CPUT grounds. The race finished for the last couple of days in a town that dates back to the late 1600s of Wellington. And for the pace and his partner Peter de Troy just running in here in the African jerseys. And they will consolidate that. Hold up in that by finishing in a fairly solid position today. Danny Neck will start racing Sunday afternoon.
Well, in overall general classification, certainly Rally Electric will find racing on the pace, but Philip Bass finished behind Bierkes and Becker on the day, on the stage, by about 30 seconds. So still great defense of that jersey by Philip Bass. Philip Bass having won 4 stages, and the actually going to be the elite, doing that South Africa jersey proud. He's run out of space on the wall in his house for Absa Africa jerseys. But still another one wouldn't harm anyone.
It's over the years we've talked about trying to get into the top 5 of the general classification onto the podium, but the next best thing is not that today. Now, the orange leaders jerseys belong to the RMX women's category, and in particular that have been the sole possession of Anna Terpstra and Nicole Kohler throughout this race in their debut in the Cycleops. It's not an unfamiliar situation, but all riders in that group are novices, so to speak, or newbies, if they use the term here on the race numbers.
They just passed through the 60-kilometer mark. We're tracking them as they're about to reach the USN Hydro Point, which is about halfway up the climb up to the Toyota Tough section, the beginning of the Toyota Tough section, rather than now. So this is the climb where it really could get quite selective now. Nicole and Candice will need to be attentive. They need to steal the result for this, and no doubt see a final surge from Team Ghost. They've been at the front. They are racing aggressively. They don't have to. They would be quite content just to sit back and ride defensively and let the team of Cannondale Factory Racing make the move. But they would also, just like the likes of Matthew Beers and Howard Ross, they're not satisfied with that 2.5-minute advantage. They realise that there's a very slender advantage going into 2 big days in Stellenbosch, into complicated days in terms of the technical trails, the climbs, and they know they need to get as much advantage over their rivals as possible. And they know that they're on the front, and we'll see just how much time they can gain on their rivals. Candice leaving a little bit of a gap. Mona Vitamola in touch with that wheel of Anna Terpstra, and setting the pace is Nicole Kohler.
Almost the first time we've said that this week. Candice has been very evidently the stronger of the two in that partnership until this moment, but she's back on.
It's still hard to tell from this angle. It might just be, she might just be leaving a bit of a gap, but
or just if you have like a little bites to eat or so, then it's also just it can. If she's comfortable, then she would also be able to quickly close the step again. So the last final point of today's stage, and then we're dropping that.
Exactly, look at that profile. That packet went rather halfway up that climb, and hopefully Candice can get back in touch with that lead, the very front of the field. As the race slows down and starts to narrow, the trail starts to narrow.
USN Hydro Point coming up the final climb, and then it's the Golden Mile.
No problem for Candice Law. She's able to get back in touch with the leaders, and the fans of the South African rider will be watching closely to see hopefully they themselves in stadium for today.
Look, I mean, it's if they would be in the situation to put pressure on them, so they would have to pause the two, and there was like a little bit before the marathon, there was like a big open section where you could drive double lanes and you could overtake the two, but Mona was just sitting behind them, riding the same pace, which also shows me that she's not in the situation, or taking out together that her and Candice Hill are not in the position to really ride harder than the Ghost Racing team.
Certainly, if Mona Vitamola were to detect that her partner Candice Hill was in a bit of trouble of having difficulty closing those gaps, best thing that Mona Vitamola could do is to get in between the two riders of the Ghost Factory Racing team. That would be a tactical move. These narrow trails, it looks like the riders are all pretty much in touch.
But there's what you see is like that Nicole Kohler and also Anna Terpstra, there's always like a quick look a bit over the shoulder. They're checking out what are the others doing. So it might be that they also just we're trying to increase the pace and checking if one of the following riders, if Mona or if Candice Hill, if they battle with the speed. Yeah, so they always like a bit this check out with the look over the shoulder.
Yes, just slowly just scraping the pace see what effect that had. And perhaps the latest that Cannondale was off on that when we noticed a little bit a while ago. And so she spoke it up a little bit. Okay, come on, looks like and Terpstra on her wheels that have been all the way. It's
Recognisable there, those all carbon fibre wheels. It's a distinctive scene that we've seen on the World Cup scene and also the Mexico that we haven't seen those wheels at the front of the field. And they are riding with the Ghost Factory Racing Team, Ghost Bikes, and we saw earlier that they are also running that new flight attendant system, the electronic suspension system where all of the components, all the major components are linked up to operate the suspension. So open and close the suspension automatically using AI, using machine learning and deep learning to understand the rider's characteristics and also switch off. It's really going to come into its own when we get to the sprint, because that's when maximum power will go down and that's when the suspension will knock out. So there is absolutely no power loss at all. Motor interval absolutely in touch, staying glued to the rear wheel of Anna Terpstra. Will be a familiar sight for her. Being glued to the wheel of Anna Terpstra. They both raced on the World Cup scene, and both having won the UCI World Cups. The ominous gap there forming back to Candice Lill. She needs to get back in touch. There is a little bit of a way to go on the Toyota before they get to the Toyota Tough section. But Candice will rely on these corners to drift into the corners as fast as possible and to close that gap.
Terpstra and Carla will be aware. Just push it a little bit harder.
Especially like if you have like these the corners where you have like almost like a 180 degrees, then you can see what's happening with the
happening down at the finish in Wellington. As leadership and Sebastian P step up onto the third step on the podium. Spritzman and Sim Alton had a good week. Stage win at the podium across more aside from the top step, and now the first time this week an opportunity for Matthews and Halcroft to go to the very top of the podium. The first stage win of the week, the yellow jerseys, the first day in yellow, and they have done a fantastic job to consolidate that hold on the yellow jerseys.
Coming good in the latter half of the race, the defending champion and the 2021 champion Matthews is well and truly a stage race specialist. He does race the gravel scene in the US during the year, and kind of a double talent, you could say. Certainly is showing that he is one of the very finest stage racers on the planet, and looking to write his name in the history books. Looking for his third win, matching the likes of Jaroslav Uhov.
Up the last few ranks of this climb, and things have gone well to latch back onto the wheel of her top the moment you are there. No question about Ghost Factory Racing. They have looked supreme all week, completely in control that yet. For their perspective, had to have a serious mechanical issue. They've just stayed locked to each other's wheels and kept a steady tempo all the way through. Confirmation of their hold on the yellow jersey. They're wearing into stage 5 in Stellenbosch. Matt Pears and Howard Grotz of Toyota Specialized 91. They lead the APSA Cape Epic after stage 5 and 6 days of racing, 2 to go. It's the critical phase of the race. It's when you want to perhaps take the jersey and really relish the opportunity to defend it over the next couple of days in Stellenbosch. The race, in fact, won't ride, the riders won't ride from Wellington to Stellenbosch. They'll be transported by their own means or by bus, courtesy of the APSA Cape Epic organisation, and they will set up camp at the race village in Stellenbosch, and then 2 days of racing around the beautiful trails of Stellenbosch await these riders. How are they going to relish that? And it's going to be spectacular watching them race around the trails. Some talk of a little bit of rain later on this weekend. Well, we'll wait to see if that happens. Whatever it is, it's going to be fantastic racing. Now, Jessie Nixon is an indication of where our leading women are, just about getting to the top of the climb, and then it's the Golden Mile. And as we saw with the men, and these riders will know, the race to the finish is flat and fast.
Very close to the top of that section, the Toyota Tough section, the Golden Mile, and the team. If there's any rider in this elite select group that is struggling, they'll be relieved to be getting to that downhill section. Ghost Factory Racing looking very much in charge, so in control, and it's just a carbon copy of them the entire week. Hardly put a foot wrong. In fact, they have not put a foot wrong. Let's be clear. They have not shown a single sign of weakness. And Candice Lill and Mona Mitterwalder have really got to bring their A game to the finish to get to hopefully win a stage. They're looking to get a stage out of this, and they know what they have to do. But it's all very well thinking it and planning it, but actually executing it against two of the world's finest cross-country riders is no mean feat.
And even if the three riders beside Candice Lill are newbies in the Cape Epic, I mean, Nico Koller and Anna Terpstra, they are older, they have more riding experience all over the world, over different conditions, and it's still with that Mona Mitterwalder also has to, in a way, gain that experience and learn in a way also to deal with specific situations which you face here in the Cape Epic. The dust, riding like really on the rear wheel of other riders in the dust where you don't see anything, and she's very like a bit apprehensive and like cautious. She likes in a way also to actually ride ahead and gains actually wins the races when she can go ahead in the climb and make actually move in the. But if she's under pressure in a bunch, that's for her it's a bit of downfall.
So she's a front runner, if you like, likes to get in front and then build on that lead here. And that's Mitterwalder and Lill following down the trail as Ghost Factory Racing. Terpstra and Koller make this look absolutely supreme. They really are quality riders in this sort of condition. The erosion canyon, if you like, which is the Golden Mile, is the perfect platform for a wonderful trail, and they have exploited it to the maximum here. They've opened a little bit of a gap, but that's by just the nature of the downhill here. Here comes Mitterwalder. Yep, look at that little gap for the skill of the cross-country racers here, going so smoothly. Beautiful riding from this pair. They'll get towards the bottom and then hook down onto the farm roads alongside the vineyards. They are in control again, Ghost Factory Racing.
A clever move from them just to use their skills, get a bit of a gap, because they know that the Cannondale Factory Racing team will just have to put in a little bit of extra effort to close that gap on the flats. And of course, when it comes to an all-out effort in the sprint, you need all that you have. And just that extra effort that Cannondale Factory Racing will need to spend getting back in touch may just blunten their sprint just that little bit.
And yeah, but we also saw that in the previous days, like if it came to the flat section, it was actually Candice Lill who tried to pull Mona back to the leading group. And today it seems like that Candice has a little bit, or is definitely a bit on the weaker side. So let's see if Mona would be able to help now Candice to get back to the Ghost Factory Racing team.
Bit of a drag now. They try and close that gap. Mona Mitterwalder on the front here. Candice Lill, you can see just on the back end, as we said earlier, it's not often we've said that this week. She has done so much of the pace setting for her team, and indeed in the race itself as they cross the irrigation canal, the olive orchards on the left-hand side, the vineyards on the right, as they rocket down the slopes of Groenberg towards the finish here in Wellington.
Well, they're just about to approach the Val de Charonne section. That's the 5K to go mark, and they'll be there almost momentarily. as they absolutely fly along these flat sections. And Ghost Factory Racing looking to make it 6 out of 6 on stage 5. They won the prologue, stages 1 to 4, and stage 5 looks well within their grasp as they have already distanced Cannondale Factory Racing. The race is not done yet, but it looks very clear that Nicole Collar is going to be putting down as much power as she can and riding through and off and collaborating with her partner Anna Terpstra to keep that gap at bay. And if nothing else, even if the team of Cannondale Factory Racing team get back in touch with Ghost, at what cost, what kind of conditions they're going to be like at the finish if they have to still make a sprint for it.
They're making an effort, aren't they? You saw Midibala out the saddle and Candice tucking in behind her to maximize the drag effect, but it is Kohler and Terpstra. Look as though they've flown the coop now for Ghost Factory Racing, are charging ahead. They sense another opportunity for a stage win here to continue their dominance throughout this race.
So the only advantage the two Candice Lill and Mona Mitterrand have now is like the final approach. It's even so slightly a bit different. So what they see is just the team ahead, the Ghost Factory team. So where they turning to the left, to the right, because that's slightly different. So they can maybe also go with a little bit more speed around the corners and carry a bit more pace around the corner.
Well, they are closing in on the finish here at the Wellington CPUT grounds, and it is for Manny looking like a Ghost Factory Racing win again, but Mona Mitterrand and Candice will do all they can to try and close that gap. 2 minutes 31 was the gap at the start of the day on general classification between the two teams, and if they can close the gap, they'll at least minimize that. There we go, not much time between them. Into familiar territory now, getting across the irrigation canal. The Chiron is the base for the wild boar trails, hedgehog, porcupine, warthog, and the big one, wild boar. 45 kilometers of trails from Val di Chiron. 5 kilometers, they're closing in on the finish here. Nicole Kohler and Ann Terpstra passed through that checkpoint, and so have Mitterwalder and Lil. 11 seconds the gap back to them. Beautiful scenes as Ghost Factory Racing have never been more than that distance apart throughout this race.
Yeah, and it's they just work so nicely together, and Anna Terpstra and Nicole Kohler, like body shape and also like from the strength, they can work like in these flat sections very nicely together. They taking turns, and that of course helps if you have like always like a bit move through the team and taking turns.
Well, they become very used to wearing those jerseys, the Chivita orange leaders jerseys, and they've got some young support. The youngsters, it's a holiday weekend here in South Africa, so there's plenty of support. Schools are on holiday, and Terpstra and Kohler getting some encouragement and then riding away from the youngsters. That's how powerful they are.
Well, you can see the effort that they're putting in, just the body language, and not only that, you can see from the gap that they've been creating, the gap that's been growing. It's gone to over 11 seconds at the moment to Cannondale Factory Racing. It is a long gap, but of course they are riding along a very fast section of trail on the road at the moment. They are minutes away from the finish. You expect to see them in just a few minutes. Ghost Factory Racing team. Anna Terpstra, the Dutch woman who's won World Cups before on the UCI World Cup circuit. Nicole Kohler, a former World Junior Champion in Switzerland. If you're a top rider in Switzerland, you're a top rider in the world. Fantastic program. The Swiss mountain biking program, bringing the world some phenomenal riders. And Ghost Factory Racing look likely for another win, gaining time over Cannondale Factory Racing. We still have yet to get sight of Toyota Specialized 91, Sophia Gomez Villafana, Samara Shepherd. They were 1 minute 37 back at the 51 kilometer mark, but we've already seen the riders pass. The top riders, the first riders passed through the 64 kilometer mark, And in fact, as we said that Toyota Specialized 91 just passed the 5K to go mark, 3 minutes and 3 seconds back off the time set by Ghost Factory Racing. Still 5Ks to go for the Ghost Factory Racing team to cement their 6 out of 6 record, a clean record at the 2024 event.
Just there you saw Cannondale going to the front of the chase for Cannondale Factory Racing, but it might be forlorn because this pair are absolutely holding nothing back. Kohler and Terpstra in perfect symmetry here. They have kept no more than a couple of inches apart throughout the day and kept a relentless pace, just up the tempo of the last climb, and then escaped down the descent, the Golden Mile, and built on that on the flatter sections towards the finish now.
We did expect to see the move from them on the climb. They did put the pressure down, but the move actually happened on that downhill section, just getting a couple of extra bike lengths, and then when that tiny gap was there, they put down maximum power. Great tactics from the Ghost Factory Racing team. And just a quick look at the overall general classification. Ghost Factory Racing had 2.5 minute advantage over Cannondale Factory Racing at the start of the race. And just like we saw in the men's category, in the women's category, they're looking to scrape just a few more seconds out of Cannondale Factory Racing. It all is going to come down to the wire. The last 2 days in Stellenbosch, it's still a very slim advantage. Cannondale Factory Racing will want to minimize the damage as much as possible because they know that every second counts. In the classic edition, the 20th edition of the Absa Cape Epic is the most competitive we've seen so far at the race.
Living up to its billing as the most competitive mountain bike stage race in the world. That pass through Bosman family winds now. They know they are closing in at home. This is a slight change to the finish, but they'll cross that little bridge. One couple of kilometers left there is the bridge that they'll cross under. That is a huge sign that they know they are within a kilometer or so of the finish here. And Terpstra and Nicole Kohler. Spectators starting to get a look at our RMX women as they cross underneath there. No problem at all. Super smooth, super fast, and so controlled. Real thought since we've seen the Sina Fry, Laura Stigger dominance of this event. We see the pair take such control of the race and maintain their composure, their control, and of course their equipment with such care and attention. That's the key here as well. Of course, this event throws up so many obstacles and challenges for the physical side of it, but if you can manage your equipment without any real problems, then this sort of thing will happen. You can get into control of the race.
It's about being very much in control and riding under control, and no risks means that there is less risk, not only for the rider but also for the equipment. And riding on the limit just somehow just seems to cause more issues, more mechanical issues. Just a little bit less care is taken from the riding on the trail and avoiding those tiny possible obstacles, because of course it only takes one rock to take half an hour out of your time. And having to repair can really take tracts of time and ruin anyone's chances, any team's chances of the overall general classification. But no sign of weakness here from the Ghost Factory Racing team as they head into the finish. They're no strangers to South Africa. They're newbies at the race. We have mentioned it before, but they are well traveled in this Western Cape region. They've ridden many of the trails. In fact, they've won early season stage races for 2023 together, riding together, in fact. And the question was, in the last few years, just why have this pair not ridden the Absa Cape Epic? And they're answering it with a dominant performance in the UCI women's category, the RMX women's category at the 2024 event.
So Nicole Kohler has given way to Anne Terpstra, who's taken the lead here as they come onto the last bit of trail up onto the banks of the dam. And they have done this time and again, and they are putting another firm nail into their flag as the dominant team here, the Ghost Factory Racing team. What a performance by the Dutch and the Swiss rider. Really been utterly dominant here. It really is amazing.
Flawless in their riding, flawless in their preparation. They've spent a lot of time here in South Africa and certainly know the trails well, and their team manager, Thomas, we're waiting for them at the finish, and he'll be very pleased with yet another fantastic performance from them. There is just so much going on behind the scenes with the top teams, and all the riders, Terpstra and Collar, have to do is pedal, and although that's no mean task, there is a lot of support that goes on in the background, and they'll be celebrating just as loudly with the team of Collar and Terpstra as they come to the finish.
Here they come, Ghost Factory Racing, 33-year-old Dan Terpstra and 26-year-old Swiss partner Nicole Kohler have crossed the line, and they have made it 6 out of 6 in the Absa Cape Epic in 2024. They retain the lead, and they retain their dominant hold on the Aramex women's category, fighting hard for every second. The Candice Lill and Mona Mitterwalder of Cannondale Factory Racing. They'll lose a few seconds to the overall leaders, but it'll probably stay under 3 minutes going into the last two stages. Another brave fight, but ultimately undone again by a classy performance by Ghost Factory Racing, who have made it their own again today. Get back around 3 minutes to the Toyota Specialized 91 team of Sophia Gomez, Viafan and Samara Shepherd. And last we checked, it was around 3 minutes. The gap between the Ghost Factory Racing and Cannondale Factory Racing at the finish, 20 seconds, so it is just under 3 minutes the overall lead going into stage 6 here, as they look ahead to the weekend racing in the Absa Cape Epic.
Well, the stats show it's a very slender lead, but the body language and the racing shows that Ghost Factory Racing look very much in charge of this race.
And there's absolutely no doubt that for the Ghost Factory team, it was the right decision to come here and compete in the Cape Epic. 6 out of 6 wins, so it's a perfect number.
Let's hear from the stage winners down at the finish.
Congratulations again. Strike goals for this year. Pick up Epic. Pick up Epic.
I don't know. So yeah, we gave it a go, and yeah, we came through with 5K to go, just out of the single track, and yeah, we tried to share the work until the finish, and yeah, it worked out amazing.
I mean, every second will count for GC. You gain a little bit of time again. Was that the goal as well, or what was in mind when you started the stage this morning?
Well, I think everybody expected us to attack where we attack now. But we thought we'd just try and see if we can get a gap. It was not necessarily the goal to gain more time, but more to at least come through safe and don't take any risks. But of course it's nice when we can add some seconds to our lead.
Did you have time to enjoy the stage, riding on these trails?
Yeah, like the trails, we were training here, and I already knew them a little bit, and yeah, they're just so cool to ride. It's so flowy, and yeah, it's totally like cross country, and yeah, just a lot of fun.
I mean, only two more stages to go. Stellenbosch area, you've been there many times. It's an area with a lot of trails. Are you looking forward to the last 2 days?
Yeah, I'm looking forward a lot. Both days have amazing trails, and we've been training there for years, so it will be so nice to finally race on them.
And how do the legs feel at the end of this week?
Yeah,
Beginning of the
It's Friday.
yeah, no, I think we're still feeling pretty good, and yeah, hopefully the next 2 days will also be like that, and yeah, then we just try to give our best for the next 2 days as well.
Good luck for tomorrow and Sunday stage.
Thank you.
The thoughts there of our dominant Ghost Factory Racing team under Terpstra and Nicole Kohler. And whilst they were chatting, so we saw Sophia Gomez Viafan and Samara Shepherd cross the line in third place on the stage, 3 minutes and 43 seconds down on the stage, which will take them over 10 minutes adrift of the Ghost Factory Racing team on general classification?
Well, these are unofficial time checks, but we have them pegged at 11 minutes and 39 seconds on general classification back. They're the stage.
Yeah, top three in the women's Aramex women's race, and Terpstra and Nicole Kohler, 6 out of 6. Quite supreme ride by them. Mona Minabala and Cannondale hanging on and hanging in there. Lost 20 seconds today. That lead just under 3 minutes on general classification. Gomez Villapan and Samara Shepherd in third place today. As it has been throughout this race, just the top 3 teams have been in those top 3 places throughout. So the men's stage today saw Matthew Beers and Howard Crofts win their first stage of the race in the yellow jerseys. Toyota Specialized 91 by 12 seconds from Andreas Servold and Mark Stutzman of Canyon City. Nino Schurter and Sebastian Finney lost 57 seconds. The World Bicycle Relief Team in second place at the start of the day. Shell Ruba had their best day of the week, although just losing a bit of power towards the end. 327 down. Really Victoria Factory, Platin Radisson and San Polo 321, not far behind them, but losing time, big time. Huntsbecking advanced Alleman. Here's right, yellow jersey wearers having won 2 stages. They lost the yellow jerseys yesterday, and they may well lose their position on the podium if they continue going like this. That's the GC. At the moment, they are, well, they've got a reasonable gap to Andreas Servold, but Mark Stutzman and Andreas Servold are really going well. They found their legs late in the stage and late in the race, and Becking and Alleman are seemingly depleting as this week progresses. Not so Matt Beers and Howard Crofts. They have a 2 minute and 57 second lead over Nino Schurter and Sebastian Finney. Doesn't it set it up beautifully for stages 6 and 7, the grand finale in Stellenbosch over the weekend. 2 glorious days of trail-led racing to look forward to. Wellington is the venue, and they bid farewell to Wellington if you like. They did come back to it, of course, but it's the last stage in Wellington. And this was the start today. Alleman is backing, as they do quite often, charge off the front. I think with a little bit of a smile on their faces they head off there.
They certainly win the Team Spirit Award, and even smiling. They lost their yellow jerseys. They held it for 2 days, and even when riding out of the yellow jersey, they still manage to smile, which is it's really testament to their sportsmanship and their team spirit, and they're just enjoying their week out. They love it here. Huntsbecking is a well exponent of the Epic Series races. New partner about Alleman certainly did him proud in that yellow jersey. The coveted Chiavita yellow jerseys, and as you can see here, worn by the defending champion, the 2023 champion, and the 2018 champion, Howard Crofts.
On the first section of single track roller coaster, the yellow jerseys, Beers and Crofts of Toyota Specialized 91 led out the second team on general classification, World Bicycle Relief, Sebastian Finney in the Danish champion jersey, and Nino Schurter. The sole rider here, Johan van Zyl, his partner, Alex Miller, pulled out at the start of the race, allowing van Zyl to continue on riding solo, but he was not allowed to get involved with the racing at any stage in the race. Beers and Crofts showing their intentions early on in the stage today to make sure that they could keep hold of those yellow jerseys. That 2 minute gap back to a 2-time winner, the 10-time world champion Nino Schurter. Well, you know you're going to have to work really hard to keep that.
Well, the early time checks, we saw that the race really started to develop, and not only develop, but the chasing teams put on the back foot, and the race concertining at this point. We did look to the likes of Canyon City, and notably present was the Bulls Mavericks team, Urs Huber and Simon Schneller. Urs Huber, a last-minute entry into the team. Simon Schneller calling him up really with less than a week to go. arriving in South Africa, perhaps a little bit undercooked, but looking to gain, to make the most of a great week out in South Africa. Whereas Huber, the 2016 champion, and riding at the very front of affairs.
So the group started to split with Beer still on the front, dictating the pace. He is one of those riders who loves to be on the front of the race, and the chase group behind working to try and minimize that gap and make sure that they didn't lose too much time. That it was Alleman and Becking who were suffering today. They had the yellow jersey for 2 days in Tilbach. They lost it to Beers and Grotz yesterday, and they were losing time again today. Schurter setting the early pace and trying to keep him and Sebastian Finney from losing too much time. And Servold, the German champion, marathon champion, was in the picture. But it was soon becoming apparent that the former Swiss champion and former winner here, Urs Huber, was starting to take a bit of heat. He and his partner, Simon Schneller of the Bulls Mavericks, was starting to lose touch with this lead group. As well, he loves the trails, does the world champion, former world champion, Nino Schurter, and he showed it and expressed it there. Down off the mountain, the Golden Mile, towards the finish, it was Beers and Grotz. Beers was clearly in great form and feeling very, very strong, and it bolted ahead. And Grotz was chasing back to him, and Canyon City were the team behind it because World Bicycle Relief had lost time. And as they came into the finish at Wellington, it was Beers and Grotz of Toyota Specialized 91 who, in the yellow jerseys, win their first stage of this year's race. A 10th stage win for Beers, a second for Grotz in the history of the event. Canyon City crossed the line in second place to improve their hopes of perhaps moving up into the podium positions later in the week. And in third place were the World Bicycle Relief team, and then it was in Bulls Mavericks. But that's how they finished on the podium. Beers and Grotz on the top step, followed by Canyon City and World Bicycle Relief in third place. And still in the yellow jerseys going into stage number 6, Beers and Grotz. They've improved their overall lead now, and will have a handy lead going into the weekend's racing in Stellenbosch. The Aramex women's race hit it off with the Ghost Factory Racing team leading by 2 minutes and 31 seconds over the Cannondale Factory Racing team of Candice Lill and Mona Mittermauer, the Austrian world marathon champion. Samara Shepherd on the front, New Zealander based in Australia nowadays, but she and Sophia Gomez-Villa found some 7 minutes and 56 seconds off the overall leaders. Nice for them to gain some time on Cannondale and Ghost. But the Ghost Factory Racing pair in the orange leaders jersey have been utterly dominant. They've won every stage going into stage number 5 here, and have looked totally in control of this race in their first time